Dude, listen, this Miami Heat Summer League team is an all-star team. How many games would this squad win in the actual NBA, the regular season? 40 games? 50 games? 60 games? I don't know. Let me relax a little bit, because I do think one thing that Heat fans do too much is overvalue a lot of their young guys and undrafted guys. That's why you hear crazy things like, oh, I wouldn't trade Khalil Ware for Lauri Markkanen. Obviously, that's crazy, right? But an actual real question that I do want to ask is, why the does Drew Smith still have a two-way spot? The level of talent on this Heat Summer League team is insane. I don't even know where to start. This was truly one of the most fun and exhilarating Summer League games that I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, both teams scored over 110 points, which in Summer League is crazy. So Boston was hooping for quite a minute. I will give them that. Shout out to Jaden Springer. Shout out to my guy, Baylor Shireman, the guy I wanted the Heat to take in the second round, but Boston snagged him in the last pick of the first round. But both teams, man, was pretty much on fire. I mean, in yesterday's Summer League action, I think there was like 7 games. Only 2 teams scored over 100. And today, Boston and Miami both broke that very easily, both scoring in the 110s. But where do I start if I'm the Miami Heat? What an incredible roster from the top down. Let's start with the MVP of the game, the guy who is probably the best player in the entire Summer League. And I was a little surprised why he played today. Of course, I'm talking about Kamehameha Jaquez Jr., Mr. Lord Footwork. I got a foot fetish for the footwork. Kamehameha Jaquez Jr., who dominated today with 29 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 10 of 18. Something light for your boy. But as I was saying, I was a little surprised to hear he'd be playing in Summer League. He literally played more games than anyone else on the Heat's roster last year. Played 75 games, started playoff games, was obviously sensational. But he was already in Vegas playing with the USA team, which, by the way, that's even more weird. Went from playing against LeBron and Steph Curry to, Matt Walsh, Drew Peterson, former Heat Summer League legend. So obviously you want to see Jaime dominate. And maybe that's why he played, just quite frankly, because he was already in the area, because Team USA was practicing in Vegas as well. So we knew Jaime was playing today. I think I heard he's playing the next game. After that, he's probably not going to get that much run. But hey, I mean, he was going to be practicing somewhere, right? Why not put him on the Summer League team and let him really get some burn as like the guy? You know what I mean? Because in a lot of these other runs, he obviously is probably playing a role. So let's see what he can do with the ball in his hands all game. And man, did we see him just absolutely be sensational today. You saw the mid-range shots. You saw the footwork. Had a crazy and one step through at the end of the game when things started to get a little bit close, because the Heat were up early. Boston went on like a 10-0 run, either early in the third quarter, somewhere around that time. But that's when Keshad Johnson, my guy, who we will get into, my God, that boy made me jump out my seat today. But he hit a big 3. Josh Christopher get hot. And from there, the Heat never really looked back, but they also didn't quite pull away. It was basically a 2 to 3 possession game for the remainder of the game. Boston might have cut it to 1 possession, but late down the stretch, you had a lineup of Keshad and Khalil Ware, and those guys just dominated defensively. And obviously, like I was saying, Kamehameha Jaquez Jr. hit some pretty big shots down the stretch also. So he was incredible tonight. And just, in the easiest way I could say this is he did exactly what you wanted to see Jaime do, which is dominate and set himself apart from the rest. We'll kind of go through the rest of the box score here and just talk about each of these guys, because I have something to say about all of them. So we'll start with the guy at the top here, Keshad Johnson. Y'all know he is my favorite player in the league. I've been telling y'all for a month before Summer League started to buy all the Keshad Johnson stock. And price just went up, and price keeps going up and up and up. So if you did buy some stock, hold on to it, be loyal, and we're going to be very rich together. If you don't have any Keshad stock, go ahead and buy some. It's not too late. But on the in the box score today, only finished with 10 points and 5 rebounds, shot 3 of 6, but he was everywhere on the basketball court, as he continues to be. 3 offensive rebounds today, which is something he's been killing as well. Had a monster one late in the game. That's when it was a 1-2 possession game with just a minute or 2 to go. Skied in between 2 Celtics, got higher than everyone and snagged the board. Was incredible defensively all game, staying with his man, blocking shots. Actually, I don't know if he technically finished with any blocks today. He did not, but he was contesting everything. Whether it was his man or not, he was flying around the court. And let's not forget to talk about the athleticism that he displayed today with a couple of those dunks. Had one like alley-oop reverse jam off a beautiful pass from Isaiah Stevens, who we will get into also. And then Kashad had this one. This is the one that made me jump off my couch and scream, oh my God. It was the end of third quarter. I think the Heat either got a steal or a rebound, but the ball landed in Keshad's hands, and he started sprinting down the court. There's 2 seconds on the clock. I keep waiting for him to take a half-court shot, maybe a little runner from the three-point line. But no, he got to the rim with time to spare and slammed it in. Should have been an and one. Starts screaming, showing that energy and Heat culture that y'all know I've been getting hype about for the last couple of weeks now. Had the whole bench going crazy. And what an amazing talent Keshad Johnson is. Truly just an incredible player. So moving on here, we talked about Jaime Jaquez. Let's talk about the first round pick, Khalil Ware, returning after a missed game of action, the last game of the California Summer League, just for some rest to let the other guys get some run. Like Alondes Williams, who balled out in the last game, wasn't even dressed today. I have not heard an update on yet, but I don't quite know what that's about. But Khalil Ware was awesome. He was the definition of efficient. 7 of 9 shooting, 17 points for him, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, and he contested a lot more than that. Hit a 3 today as well, right off the bat, where the form was looking beautiful. And he continues to make his free throws too. Today, I think he was 2 of 4 today, so not quite perfect today, but he was so great at everything else. Had a nice, dunk running down the lane, which again was off a beautiful pass from Isaiah Stevens, man. The next video that y'all see of mine after this will be an Isaiah Stevens breakdown, just about everything from college to what he's been doing now, because that dude deserves that two-way spot, especially over Drew Smith. If you're talking about getting an actual point guard, which is the reason the Heat have Drew Smith and that two-way spot supposedly, because they say he can run an offense, Isaiah Stevens can run an offense. I mean, we can get into him right now because we just talked about his beautiful pass to Khalil Ware, but Isaiah Stevens tonight, 9 points, including a monster 3 down the stretch, again, when things were getting close, 2 rebounds, but 11 assists for him, and 1 turnover. 11 assists to 1 turnover is wild, and truthfully, he should have had more assists. A lot of times he fed guys wide open who just didn't knock it down, so he was making great reads all game. I mean, y'all know how great a facilitator he is. My comments have been blowing up, just, talking about how much, Heat fans like myself love him, and we'll get into more of the details in tomorrow's video about Isaiah Stevens, but it's also the defense that really impresses me. Because part of the reason he's probably not on an NBA roster or wasn't drafted is because he's only 6 foot. But he's not one of those small 6-foot guys that gets pushed around. He's been a great on-ball defender. Pressing guys full court, staying in front of his man, just being a real pest for whoever he's guarding. And that's that type of, pesky defense that I love to see from these smaller guards. Because you got speed. So how do you get around, not getting bodied? Play up on your guy. Play some full court press. Make it difficult for them. Tire them out so they can't body you. And that's what we've been seeing from Isaiah Stevens. Just another great performance from him. And I look forward to seeing how the Heat could possibly not give him that last two-way spot. Because Stevens is getting to the point now where he's making it impossible to ignore him. He really is. Speaking of good perimeter defenders today, Pallel Larson, the numbers don't jump out of the box score once again. Only 4 points, 5 rebounds for him, 3 assists. But he showed some nice athleticism, had a nice dunk today, and the defense continues to be very great also. Playing passing lanes, didn't actually have any steals today, but I think he had some deflections, and he's another guy that's all over the place. He hasn't been the most impressive between these guys that we've mentioned so far, and I know they took him in the second round, but he has shown an ability to just be pretty versatile, and he hasn't shown a weakness in anything. He's shown he could shoot, he's shown he could pass, he's shown he could rebound, he's shown he could play defense. So for those reasons, I think he actually can be a contributor on this Heat team right now, although we haven't seen it yet. But I still am a believer in Pallel Larson. Going to the bench, the amazing Swiderman might be the greatest shooter I've ever seen in my entire life. 15 points in 19 minutes for him. Shot 4-7, 4-5 from 3. I believe he's up to like 60-something% now in the Summer League on like 7 attempts. Something ridiculous, which might sound like an outlier to you until you remember he shot 50% from 3 last season in the G League on 9 attempts. So a large sample size. And he's gotten better in the Summer League. I don't know how this guy's not on the roster either. The defense isn't great. He can't do much else outside than shooting a three. I saw him take a little floater today. It was one of the ugliest looking floaters I've ever seen in my entire life. But you cannot deny his shooting. I'm interested to see what happens with him too. Because just like Stevens, who's facilitating is so good that you can't ignore him, Swider's shooting is so damn impressive that he will not be ignored. Seriously, what an incredible shooter. Caleb Daniels tonight, I wanted to shout him out. Hit a nice three early on, played great defense. I gave him some love in my last video because he was great, and that's when he got some more run. Only played 9 minutes today, but I want to shout him out too as we're going through the box score because I just don't think there's a spot for him on this team or this summer league. But if he was able to get a chance elsewhere, remember the name Caleb Daniels. I have been impressed with him in his limited playing time. Only two of the guys left here. Zion Poulin, 10 points today, only 1 assist, shot 4 or 5, so he's very efficient. But he's just your prototypical point guard. I feel bad because every time we talk about Poulin, we say the same things here, but he doesn't make any mistakes. Only 1 turnover today. Again, that was only to 1 assist. But when you got Isaiah Stevens out there doing his thing, playing almost 27 minutes, Poulin is not going to get as much run. Now, Poulin, I do think, is a better defender because, like Stevens, he is also pesky on the perimeter, but he is much bigger. Poulin is like 6'4", 6'5", definitely has a lot more strength to him. So I like what we've seen from Poulin in that regard as well. But clearly, it seems like the coaching staff just like Stevens over him now. But I'm looking forward to see. There's a lot of summer league left. Obviously, Jaime might play the next game, but after that, probably no more Jaime. And that'll mean a lot of spaces opened up for other guys to get some real playing time. Poulin will be featured in one of these games coming up, so I do look forward to seeing what he's going to bring to the table because I love him as a player. The last guy that we got to talk about is Josh Christopher. 20 points in 23 minutes, 7-9 shooting, 3-3 from 3. This guy, wow, his story really amazed me today. I mean, he's been okay in Summer League so far. Was pretty good in the last game versus the Lakers, but they had Udonis Haslem. Shout out to the OG. He was there today at the game. They had him put on the headset and talk to, Greg Anthony and Matt Weiner for a little bit. And they asked him about Josh Christopher. And Udonis said that, he was familiar with Josh because Josh played like 130 NBA games with Houston, was a decent shooter and scorer, but his career really wasn't going anywhere, wasn't getting too much playing time. So Josh Christopher actually reached out to UD and said, hey, OG, can you put in a word for the Heat? I want to come over to your organization. I want that discipline. I want that Heat culture in me, and I think it'll really help my career. Sure enough, UD was able to pull a little bit of strings that got Christopher into this summer league, and he's been okay. And then today was obviously just amazing, shooting-wise, scoring-wise, athleticism-wise. Has these highlight dunks, it seems like now, every single game, but also defensively. As a guy who says he wants to, be a part of this Heat culture, obviously you got to play some defense, and he has been awesome on that end. Just like we said with Poulin and Stevens, he is hounding guys in a full court press, staying in between his man and the basket, making life difficult for whoever the hell he's guarding. I've been more impressed with his defense than anything because I did not know that was something that he brings to the table. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised now that I heard that story because I got a lot of respect for him now. Knowing what he needed in his life as a young player, knowing what would make him successful, seeing what Heat culture has done for other guys and saying, I want to put in the work. Just give me the opportunity, and I won't let you down, Udonis. And now here we see Josh Christopher busting his ass off and playing great. And that's just truly, truly an incredible story. I think that's all I got to say about this game. I'm sure I missed some stuff. If I forgot to mention anything or want to hear me talk about anything else, let me know down in the comments below. I will be reading everyone's comment. Make sure to like the video and subscribe because all the support does greatly help me out a lot. And stay tuned for that Isaiah Stevens video. This is perfect timing because I was already working on that video. And then he comes into a game like today, 11 assists, 1 turnover. God, that boy's good. Let's go Heat, baby. See you on the next one. Peace out.
Look, pull up in your city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.